Dive into The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, a roadmap for personal and professional growth. Through engaging stories and practical insights, Covey presents 7 powerful habits that transcend mere productivity tips. These habits delve into the core of human effectiveness, focusing on principles that empower individuals to take charge of their lives, cultivate meaningful relationships, and achieve success aligned with their values. Uncover timeless strategies that have inspired millions worldwide to lead purposeful, balanced, and impactful lives.
The book The 7 Habits of the Most Effective People is one of the most important books issued in the field of human development, and it was written by Dr. Stephen Covey, who works as an expert in the field of human development, and the book has achieved sales of 15 million copies in the United States of America alone, and this percentage has doubled in the countries of the whole world, and it occupies the list of the most read and best-selling books. The idea of the book revolves around changing life and achieving goals and how a person develops his personality and habits.
The basic idea of the book is to teach a person to acquire and learn habits in order to become a successful individual and can achieve his goals with ease, and Dr. Stephen explained that this book will not list steps that a person must do. But it will make the individual acquire a habit because the habit is the one that takes root more in the human personality over time and appears on his actions and thinking, which makes him a successful person, and Dr. Stephen highlighted a very important point, which is his answer to a question that has been asked by many researchers. It is, how does a person achieve more success in his social and work life? The author gave us a typical answer through a study he carried out on a group of distinct and effective personalities at the level of all times, and through this study he concluded that there are 7 habits that combine all these personalities. Mentality and effectiveness. The writer says that there is a difference between an active person and an effective person, from people who achieve the desired results, while others do not achieve any results, despite doing the same work and spending the same effort and time in this work. This difference between an active and effective person is due to what the writer called the mental model, which is the mental perception of an idea in each person, as this mental perception may make people successful, while making others fail. The importance of the mental model is based on the perception of the person and the mentality of this person towards something. For example, a person's perception of success is a mental model that may lead him to actually succeed, or to failure if this mental model is wrong. Or, for example, if your perception of making money is wrong, it will inevitably lead you to fail to achieve it. Therefore, before trying to acquire the 7 habits that we will mention in this article, anyone should first be aware of the idea of the mental model, and change his perception of something, success, money, happiness. The wrong perception may lead to undesirable results, while the right perception will make you an effective person and therefore good results. Stages of the 7 Habits of the Most Effective People. The 7 habits of the most effective people now come to help you build better mental models and perceptions of the reality we live in, and they also help you mature better and faster by going through 3 important stages. Stage of dependence. It means a person's dependence on others in most aspects of life, dependence on family, friends. The first 3 habits will help you change some of the concepts and ideas about dependence, and will help you rely more on yourself in order to reach independence. Independence stage. It means the independence of the person, where the person is completely self-reliant, that is, he does not depend on others and takes responsibility for his actions and decisions. The period during which a person may reach this stage varies from person to person. He may be a young and independent person, while another person is in his 30s and may be married but has not yet reached independence as he is still dependent on others, and does not take responsibility for himself. The 3 habits, 4, 5, 6, will help you at this stage to move to the bonding phase. The bonding stage, it is the last stage in the path to reaching more effectiveness, where the person is more independent and becomes responsible not only for himself, but for other people such as family and work, etc. After this stage comes the 7th and final habit that remains with the person for the rest of his life. Now we go to the 7 habits of the most effective people, habits that will help you first change your mental model and perception of things and reality, and then secondly will help you pass through the 3 stages that we have already mentioned. Habit 1. Be proactive. People are divided into proactive and negative people, but this division does not necessarily mean that people are confined to initiators and passives only, but it is like a spectrum of colors, in which people may be different in the level of initiative and in the level of negativity as well. For example, you may be less proactive and tend to be negative, or you may be negative but tend to become proactive. An initiator is someone who believes that their actions can affect their reality, takes responsibility for their actions and decisions, and seeks to solve problems even if they are not the main cause of their occurrence. While a negative person is a person who does not believe that his actions will affect his reality, and he does not take responsibility for his actions and decisions, and does not seek to solve problems, but rather you find him holding people responsible for these problems, and always blaming others for his failure and misfortune. Habit 2. Start and end in your mind. People sometimes work hard to reach the ladder of success, only to discover that this ladder was wrong from the start. The writer says that a person must know from the beginning the path he will take to success, and realize that the end of this path will be his success, and to achieve and acquire this habit, the person must set his goals in the short term, and then his goals in the long term. Near-term goals, these are the goals behind you doing something, and set these goals before you start doing it. You should also ask yourself, what's the point of doing it, and will I achieve desired results from doing it? If the answer to the last question is no, then you should stop doing this work and start achieving what you want to get. Long-term goals, it is intended to determine the goals that you want to reach in the last years of your life, and the writer here means the things that you will leave before you leave this world. Will the desired results be useful to others? Will your family benefit from the things you left behind? Have you made a difference in this world with your effective actions? And other things. Setting goals helps you know the path you will walk to reach the desired results. Knowing the goals will make you want to either achieve them, or change them to suit your desires. Habit 3. Prioritization. Being proactive and pursuing specific goals does not mean that you are an effective person, as although you do habits 1 and 2, you will face many obstacles in your life path, including problems and life pressures, and the responsibilities will always be greater than you thought. That's why the 3rd habit comes to help you prioritize according to their importance and urgency, as prioritizing will make you focused on completing as many important tasks as possible, thus returning the path of success to the right path. An effective person prioritizes exerting his effort and time on important tasks that achieve the most results, and then accepts to do other tasks that are not important and not urgent. It should be noted here that the ability to set priorities is not based on the ability to manage time, but rather in the ability to manage oneself, and it means that a person performs important tasks even if they are difficult for the soul, as doing them is necessary and requires the ability to manage oneself more than time management. In order to divide priorities, the author identifies 4 classifications for doing so. Important and urgent tasks. Work tasks are necessary obligations to solve urgent crises. Important and non-urgent tasks. Learn new skills, read useful books, planning for the future. Unimportant and urgent tasks. Follow a series or movie, follow ball matches. Unimportant and non-urgent tasks. Browse social media and watch useless videos. Our problem is that we tend to do urgent tasks first even if these tasks are not important. For example, following a series is not important, but urgent, which leads to poor management and prioritization. The author argues that the first category you should focus on in order to become an effective person is the first category, important and urgent tasks, because overlooking these tasks can lead to severe crises. The second category you should focus on is important and non-urgent tasks, because doing these tasks will make you an effective person in the future and these tasks will pay off later on. As for the rest of the classifications, it is better to leave them to the latter because they are unimportant tasks, and they will not benefit you in anything. Habit 4. Common gain mindset. Our nature as human beings is that we need the other to live. We are a social being, and we would not have reached where we are now without our cooperation with each other. For example, primitive man would not be able to hunt if he hunted himself, and the same is true in the case of self-defense from predators or from harsh climates, etc. Cooperation has an important role in our time as well, as even the large companies that produce smartphones, for example, rely on the devices of other companies in order to produce this phone. Maybe you need a company to make the battery, and another company to make your glass for the phone, and others. In other words, cooperation is a must in order to obtain desirable results, as companies that do not rely on other companies in order to reach a great product are in danger of failure. The writer says that people are divided into two mindsets regarding the matter of cooperation. Scarcity mentality. It means the person's desire to achieve a desired result without cooperating with the other, and sometimes these people even believe that their acquisition of the result is only by losing the other. This mindset will not achieve any long-term success even if it can achieve some desired results in the short term. The mentality of abundance. It means the desire of a person to achieve a desired result for himself and others, as the owners of this mentality do not believe that life is a competition race where only one person wins while others lose, but rather believes that success can only be reached through mutual gain. The author argues that achieving co-gain requires a person to have two main qualities. Fairness. It is to be fair to others and not to oppress them or take their rights or use their weakness to increase your gains, because this may lead to losses in the long run, especially material losses. Courage. It is to be brave to take your right in case you are wronged. Remember that the most important thing is that the gain is shared, and both parties must be winners, and therefore you must be fair and courageous at the same time. Habit 5. Seek to understand them before they understand you. Sometimes we suffer from misunderstanding the other or vice versa, whether in discussions or just chatting, and the main reason is a difference of opinion. But the most important reason is our lack of understanding of the other, and understanding the motives or ideas that made him express his different opinion. The writer says that understanding the other must precede our desire for the other to understand us. In other words, we must listen carefully to what the other person is saying and understand well the ideas he is proposing, in order to understand them well. Understanding the other first has two important benefits. Make sure your opinion is correct. Giving the opportunity to understand the other may reveal that your opinion is wrong, and therefore a good opportunity to correct it. Help convince the other of your opinion after knowing well his own opinion. Understanding the other first means that you have the quality of good listening and critical thinking. The latter will make you seek the truth instead of trying to convince the other only. In order to acquire this habit, it is advisable to follow these steps. Listen to the other carefully, and don't react quickly. Always ask questions to the other in order to understand them well. Be a critical person in discussing ideas and don't just try to convince the other. Express how well you understand the other, and also accept that your opinion is criticizable. Habit 6. Creative collaboration. Habits 4 and 5 will help you acquire this habit, but be careful with collaborations, because it's not just that. Collaboration must be creative and carefully thought out. As mentioned above about the example of companies cooperating with each other in order to produce a certain product, if one company fails to produce the best product, e.g. battery, the final product will not be successful, e.g. telephone. Creative collaboration is also based on the idea of dividing the proceeds between the parties involved as well as the division and determination of responsibilities, so beware of any cooperation, and only cooperate with the people you think will achieve the last result. Remember that non-cooperation is much better than bad cooperation. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. Imagine spending hours cutting down a tree with a blunt saw, while someone else sharpens the saw each time and sharpens it. As a result of this work, the first person spends very many hours cutting down one tree, while the second person spends much less time cutting down a single tree, and may cut down more trees at the same time as the first person on cutting down one tree. Saw sharpening means continuously developing and maintaining yourself in order to reach the desired result quickly and without stress. To gain this habit, The author advises to protect yourself from constant stress on 4 aspects of your life. Physical aspect. It is necessary to rest physically, because the stress of the body consumes more energy and thus reduces productivity and creativity, which leads to not reaching the desired goals and results. Spiritual. If you are a religious person, it is advisable from time to pay attention to your spiritual life by practicing the religious rituals that you are comfortable with, but if you are not a religious person, meditating from time to time may help you relax and rethink all aspects of your life. Mental aspect. Stay away from distractions from time to time that may distract your mind, distractions such as watching movies and series a lot, or using social networking sites a lot. As with the body, your brain also needs to rest occasionally. See also Facebook addiction. Social aspect. Focus on the quality of your social relationships instead of gaining more relationships. Few good relationships are 100 times better than many and unstable relationships.